Good morning, happy new week, and that is the way I greet you. We greet you and welcome you to Morning Spring today on Western Spring Television. We bring you good tidings that you cannot refuse. 8 Morning Spring o'clock, 7 a.m. every weekday, where we bring to you on a platter of gold, of course, issues happening in the nation, and not just about the issues, but having frank and deep conversations about these issues. And we are back again to look into all of that on the program. We look at what these issues are, so holistically, different views, different angles, identify what the challenges are, of course, profile solutions to these issues, and it's all geared at having a better and a working nation, the kind that we are all proud of great people, you know, and a great nation, this nation of ours, Nigeria, 65-year-old Nigeria, as a republic. Thank you for being part of the program. Femi Ojo is my name, and of course, I'm not the only one here. Daniel is here. Good morning, Daniel.
Yeah, good morning, Femi.
Yeah, how was your weekend?
Oh, great. Well, trust you had a great weekend too.
I did.
Absolutely.
We both did.
Yeah.
All right, it's good to be back here and doing what we do, you know, for the sake of these great projects called Nigeria, which should not fail.
Yeah.
And we cannot afford it to fail.
Absolutely. We cannot afford failure as far as our nation is concerned. We love Nigeria, and we keep doing all it takes to make sure Nigeria works. Good morning to you. And of course, good morning to you, our distinguished viewers. Thank you for joining us once again. This is Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Daniel Emeka is my name. Thank God it's Monday. Come on. Why don't we say thank God it's Monday, Femi?
Well, thank God.
So is it only Fridays that we have to thank God?
You know, there is a reason why people talk about thank God it's Friday, because it leads to the weekend. Actually, you know, where they can get to roll their sleeves and unwind and prepare. And, you know, do everything that they do. But then, thank God for everything. Thank God for life.
Yeah, who says you can't have fun on Monday?
Thank God for Monday.
So thank God it's Monday. It's a beautiful Monday morning. It's a fresh week. It's a fresh start. It's another opportunity for you to go out there and achieve your goals. Thank you so much for joining us once again. This is Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. It's always a pleasure to know that you are right there, because like I always say, without you, we won't be here. And we do not take you for granted. Here at Morning Spring on Western Spring Television, we say it as it is. Rest assured, you'll be getting the best as usual on the program today. You do not want to miss any part of the program. Once again, thank you. And of course, do stay with us all through the week, as we have so much to unpack for you.
And of course, we look through the papers to see what is there. And of course, at the other side of that, we then get talking. But one thing that the people have been talking about, tongues have been wagging about, is since last week, in which the president released the names of those persons that have enjoyed the prerogative of mercy of Mr. President. You know, Nigerians cannot have enough of it. For some, it's more like, okay, another chance at life. For some, it's more like, hold on, wait a minute, what's going on here? For the clemency for some, for pardon for some, for reduction of sentences for some. For some, they have even completed their term, but the state is saying, we are pardoning you, you know, possibly, you know, we look into that because of the program today, but some persons, some beneficiary of, you know, that initiative, people are looking at them to say, excuse me, what's going on here? Especially the Miriam Sanda, the woman who was accused of, who the court convicted, this is not just about accusation again, convicted of killing her husband and was sentenced to be hanged, and now she has been pardoned because, according to the presidency, her family wrote to the government that it's only okay and they should please have mercy on her because she has 2 children, and it's only okay that she takes care of them in as much as even such part of it. That's one, you know, and I think that stands out for many persons. And
Absolutely,
again, the kind of people in which I've enjoyed his pardon, some of them, like maybe 31%, because I took a percentage of that, who had drug-related offenses, actually. And many persons are saying, what's Mr. President with all these guys? You know. But then I think the highlight is Miriam Sanda's case.
Yeah, and Femi, for Miriam Sanda, you saw me, I was shaking my head. It's quite unfortunate. Here's a woman was convicted of murder, okay, culpable homicide.
Yeah.
The point here is, when I went through that report, that story, according to witnesses, she had actually threatened to stab her husband several times before she did it. So here's an abusive woman. I mean, men are going through a lot. You know, most times, you know, we tend to talk about women and all that. But I keep saying it, there are men who are going through a lot. But just because they are men, they don't want to speak up. They keep quiet. Look at the case of Johnny Depp. Okay, he suffered the same thing. You know, many people didn't believe him. Okay, they were taking sides with with his former wife then. Now, in the case of Miriam Sander, she had actually threatened to stab her husband several times.
Yeah.
So this woman has been abusive, okay, until she finally succeeded in murdering her husband. Now she's been pardoned just because she has children. Come on. So much for men. Then again, looking at the other side of it, Femi, those who got, you know, pardon, clemency, talking about those who are drug-related offenses, you know, people who have been sentenced for, you know, possession or selling of cannabis, Indian hemp. And when I looked at that list, Femi, guess what came to my mind? I just laughed and I said, maybe we should just legalize. Maybe we should just legalize Indian hemp and cannabis. You know, in some countries, it's legal. Okay, so I was like, well, if the president is going this way, perhaps we should just, you know, legalize it and don't even bother anymore.
I don't know about that actually, but you know, still talking about Miriam Sander, we get to talk about other issues and other angles in the course of the program. Is the fact that 2 points from your three. Number one, before we hit the papers now, flip it to the other side. If it's a man, actually, that premeditatedly, because it's what you said, that report has it, that she threatened several times to stab the man. So it was premeditated. Actually, you can say that, and that's why the court convicted her. It's not even a life sentence, it was death. Actually. So if it's a man, can the family of the man write to the government or the chairman of the prerogative, you know, this presidential pardon thing, Lateef Fagbemi, and say, because the man is having two children, let him be released so that he can take care of the children? That's number one. And number two is this: what does this do to consequences and deterrence? Actually, because, you know, don't let me just preempt many things that we have to say, but many persons are not taken lightly, especially the issue of the Miriam Sander.
Absolutely.
So he's not even life sentence. You know, he's not even reduced sentence.
Guess what? The appeal court has actually upheld that conviction. She's a murderer. Whether or not she's been pardoned by the president, she remains a murderer, and that is who she is. And when the children grow up, they will know that their mother actually murdered their father. Well, that will never go away. Nothing will take that away. In the eye of the law, if actually the state is pardoning her, then that means she's not a murderer. In the eye of the law. Let me forget. But you're not. You are talking about morality and history, actually. But then we have a lot to really look into today. Who gets to enjoy what? Actually, who compiles this list? How do people? Because many persons are saying, okay, because there are political exposed persons as well. And then they even took it, so they, you know, the presidential committee on that took it so back that even Herbert Macaulay, you know, was said to have been pardoned because there was a case of misappropriation of fund or something. But as far as 1913. But that individual, it's being celebrated as an icon. His face is on Tainara in Nigeria. Are we saying a criminal? Because exactly what I was saying. I guess that's just to rewrite the wrong. According to them, maybe they felt it was an injustice for him to have been, you know, convicted at that point. But they called it a pardon. Pardon. You can't pardon somebody who is not wrong. All right, so we look into this in the course of the program. All right. Stay with us, Beba. Pardon.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as they break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is.
All right, we'll start the newspaper segment from The Punch. The Punch newspaper asks to reject federal government's proposal against 2-week strike today. They called it a warning strike. As to reject federal government's proposal begins 2-week strike today. And riders to that say union snubs government peace talks over unpaid arrears. Others insist on industrial action. Federal government says no work, no pay. NANS commences move to resolve lingering crisis. Here we go again. Like people will say, every AK market days, we always come back to this point.
It's quite unfortunate. I was having a conversation with someone last night, and the person was like, let's see what miracle Mr. President will do. And I told the person late last night that, well, he has done the miracle already by threatening them with no work, no pay.
Well, the no work, no pay thing is not new, actually. But then the thing is, Mr. President promised Nigerians, I remember watching where he said,
that's the point.
Your 4 years will be 4 years. No more strike. So we wait to see if actually these threats of this is even a warning strike. It has started already. So what's happening? What's going on?
That's the point. So some people were hoping that the strike would be averted. Maybe the FG will come in. But instead of trying to, stop the strike, what we have is no work, no pay threat.
Right. Tinubu under fire for presidential pardon for drug offenders. Tinubu under fire for over presidential pardon for drug offenders, and more Kwara abductees rescued as the military sustains pressure on bandits. Please, the Nigerian military, go ahead and do all of that, not just to rescue alone, but neutralize those persons, push them off our lands, either to the great beyond or, anywhere, not just in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And we should not just be waiting for rescue. Yeah. These abductions should not take place, because it's not enough for you. It's great that they are being rescued, but the trauma for many of them will be everlasting. Actually, they might never get to be themselves again. Nobody wants to be in that position.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Yeah, and Femi, talking about the presidential pardon for drug offenders, earlier on, that was a sarcastic comment I made right there. I mean, it's not good for any society, okay? Talking about pardoning those who were criminals, who were caught with drugs and all that, because our youth in Nigeria have been destroyed. The other time we had that program here on this, that topic here on this show, I mean, the percentage of youths who are into drugs, undergraduates in Nigeria, the percentage is so high. And we need to do something about that.
Something about it. And bottom strip killings. Adeleke denies hiding Amotekun commander, blasts APC. This is taking a political dimension already, especially the Akinlalu killing. And 2 arrested over mourner's death at Ocean funeral party. Actually, something terrible happened. I think maybe it's this in Elisha, in which, at a burial event, actually, and some persons, maybe one of those persons brought in local hunters, those guys who usually do whatever they do, and then shooting the gun salute thing to respect the dead or whatever, and it took a sad thing. The gun went off.
I thought it was only one person, a 12-year-old boy.
And the bullet hit. That's what I'm saying. Either is this or not. But that in Elisha happened, actually. And the bullet, according to report, hit 5 persons. But one, was reported fatal. That means a death was recorded at a burial. People must just be careful about all of those things. Polaris Bank shines at 2025 BAFI Awards, and Fubara retains 8 commissioners. Prepares fresh nominees list. Here we go. And 2027, no pact with Jonathan, says Obi. A Naira hit 10-month high as strong FX inflows. Edun recovery. No plans for replacement. Presidency. Edun recovery. No plans for replacement. I think it's only okay for anybody, either Edun or Femi Ojo or Daniel. You can be indisposed. It's normal. It's natural.
Absolutely.
But, because they are politically exposed, everything matters in the political space.
But thankfully, a competent person is standing for him. That's talking about Yemi Cardoso is actually standing for him at this point. And we understand that Mr. Edun is recovering.
Yeah.
But again, he's a public office holder. So Nigerians deserve the right to know whether he's actually fit, completely fit, totally fit for office.
I know, definitely. There are no more private persons again. But I'm only saying, even when Nigerians now know, and which they deserve to know, it's normal that anybody gets sick. You get sick in your house, just because you are not a card-carrying member of a party doesn't mean you can't be sick. It's normal. That's why we are humans. But because this issue is not even from the followers, it's from those leaders who usually want to shield some information away because they want to appear superhuman. You are not superhuman. You are just another person with, an office, and we wish him all the best as well. That'll be all from The Punch today.
And from the front page of the Punch newspaper, we move to the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. On the Nation newspaper, federal government to ASU, strike may trigger no work, no pay rule. Federal government to Academic Staff Union of Universities, strike may trigger no work, no pay rule. With riders, ministers, we've made comprehensive offers. We've made comprehensive offers coming from ministers. You might just want to find out what exactly the comprehensive offer is all about. And we have another rider. Strike from today. I'll tell that again. Strike from today inevitable, says lecturers. Strike from today inevitable, says lecturers. Say lecturers, rather. You can read up details of that story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And on the red strip, Finance Minister Edun didn't suffer a stroke, says Presidency. Finance Minister Wale Edun didn't suffer a stroke. That's coming from Presidency. You find details of that on page 2. So for them to be saying, Femi, that he didn't suffer a stroke, perhaps there's been rumors that he suffered a stroke. But whether or not it did, like you said, we are all humans. So even if it did, let Nigerians know.
Let him just recover.
Absolutely.
And if he's fit, certified fit for the work, let him continue. If he's the principal wants him, and if he's not, he has done well for himself.
Yeah, no need for any cover-ups.
Yeah,
no need for cover-ups.
That's just the thing.
All right, away from that, still on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Moving to the top strip. Why Tinubu should be in office till 2031 by Umahi. Why Tinubu should be in office till 2021 by Umahi. That's coming from Dave Umahi, engineer Dave Umahi, who has come under a lot of criticisms by some Nigerians. He was on a television program and he couldn't give details. So he was being asked how much was being spent per kilometer on the coastal road, exactly.
Oh, the coastal road.
And he told the journalist that he was too small to ask that question, which was quite derogatory. Why would you?
No, actually, I think we should clarify that. It wasn't in that particular instance that the minister responded that it was too small. I think the newscaster, the program person, one of the presenters, said that Mr. Umahi reported him to the president, that it was an event that the minister said something about him to the president. I was just trying to do his work. Why are you reporting him to the president? And the man quipped and said, excuse you, report you. You are too small for that. That was the thing. It wasn't the response to how much is the cost per kilometer. But you know how these things work, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. Quite
everything got from 0 to 10 very quickly.
Yeah,
that particular program.
Very quickly. Now, Mike kept saying that he's a professor of engineering.
Yeah.
And the young man was asking him which university made you professor of engineering. He now said he's a professor in practice.
In practice, actually.
So perhaps we might just become professors in professors of mass communication in practice. Right. I guess you're a professor already.
I'd rather be a real professor, both in practice and in deed.
All right. Away from that, still on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Zenith Bank pays 51.3 billion naira interim dividend. Zenith Bank pays 51.3 billion naira interim dividend. With a rider, full year outlook strong. That's coming from one of the strongest banks in Nigeria, Zenith Bank. Right there, you find details of that story on page 18. Nigerian banks, once again, making so much money. But again, are the customers really enjoying the services?
My point.
That's a big question. That's a big question. We have several deductions, USSD charges, Once you dial in the code, whether or not it has gone through, they debit your account first.
My brother, I still experienced it at the weekend.
Yes, three
and it was
three
failed
times.
transaction, all three.
Yeah, I had 3 failed transactions and nothing. And there's nothing you can do about it.
And the bank will come and say they've made 1 zillion. I'm not impressed by all of those things. What's the quality of service you offer?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think they should be checked, and that's a function of, oversight function of National Assembly.
Yeah. And even the regulators.
Yeah, exactly. Away from that, still on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Businessman excretes 127 cocaine wraps. Businessman excretes 127 cocaine wraps. I'm trying so hard not to laugh. I mean, 127 cocaine wraps. Femi, how far can people go, putting their own lives at risk? Just imagine this 127 wraps of cocaine just bursting his stomach. Just imagine.
I guess
the consequences.
People can go very far.
Absolutely. Just because of money. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? That's the question. Risking your life just for money.
It is what it is.
Away from that, and below that, we have another story. Dangote Cement begins operations in Côte d'Ivoire with 33.0 million metric tons. I guess that should be it. Yes. Dangote Cement begins operations in Côte d'Ivoire with 3.0 million metric tons. You find details of that story on page 5, talking about Dangote Cement expanding, their business and to Côte d'Ivoire. Away from that, still on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning, stock markets return hit 27 trillion naira on earnings expectations. Stock markets return hit 27 trillion naira on earnings expectations. You find details of that story on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. And finally, on the bottom strip, rumpus over introduction of lottery bill in House of Reps after Supreme Court judgment. Rumpus over introduction of lottery bill in House of Reps after Supreme Court judgment. You might want to read up details of that story on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And that'll be all from the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, a quick one. Let's see what this day newspaper have for us this day. Federal government threatens no work, no pay as also begins 2-week warning strike today. And below that, you have the Night of Remembrance for Somto Chukwu. Yesterday was Night of Remembrance and tribute to her. And there you have the chairman of Arise News Channel on this day group, Prince Ndoko Bagbina, former governor of Edo State, Senator Adams Shomale, another Senator Victor Ume, and Arise News Charles Anyagolo during the Night of Remembrance for late Somto Chukwu Christian Maduagu held at the Stadium in Abuja yesterday. The young lady who died.
And I hope, Femi, I really hope we do get to, get the real story. The official story was that she jumped, which a lot of Nigerians are still questioning. I really hope that the police give us, a detailed investigation and the culprits are actually brought to justice.
Well, what happened, right? And TCN, foreign funding for power transmission, $1.3 billion in 5 years amid frequent outages. Talking about Somto Chukwu, Arise News Channel, we will be consoled over Maduago with improved security and healthcare system. And you have riders to that saying, says the deceased wanted to go into politics to change some of the societal ills that killed her, and family, colleagues who may Oshomole, friends, support, encomium on the late journalist. Thought and prayers are with our family. And of course, our vision, we hope, it materializes someday. And while you're doing this post, as Cardoso leads delegation to World Bank IMF meet in DC, that will be all from this day.
I guess I don't think we have another newspaper headline, so I guess that'll be all from the front pages of the newspapers this morning. Right. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we dive into other critical matters. So stay with us.
Our news are reported as it is.
In Africa,